Have you ever felt a weight on your chest that you couldn't explain, like an invisible hand pressing down on your peace? Maybe you've noticed doors slamming shut just when you're about to break through, or relationships you cherish suddenly turning cold. These aren't just random moments of bad luck. They could be signs of something deeper, something intentional. Welcome to ZENLIGHT 8, where we blend the timeless wisdom of Stoicism with practical tools for self-improvement to help you reclaim your clarity and power. In this video, we're diving into the hidden patterns that might be working against you, from spiritual interference to subtle blockages in your life. Stick with me to the end, because you're about to learn not just how to spot these signs, but how to transform them into stepping stones for your growth. Let's uncover the truth together and take back control of your journey. Imagine standing at the edge of your dreams, every step planned, every effort poured in, only to find the path ahead sealed shut. You've worked tirelessly, stayed disciplined, pushed through setbacks, yet nothing moves. The job you were perfect for slips through your fingers. The business you built with sweat and sleepless nights stalls just before its big break. Your creative spark, once a roaring fire, flickers into ash. It's not just fatigue, it's a fog, thick and heavy, clouding your will to keep going. This isn't the ordinary resistance of life. This is something deeper, something that feels almost deliberate, like an unseen force is holding you back right when you're about to soar. On ZENLIGHT, we don't just talk about obstacles. We uncover their roots and turn them into fuel for your growth. So, let's dive into the first sign that something might be working against you: persistent blockages in your goals and personal growth. The Stoics, those ancient masters of resilience, knew that life is a series of challenges meant to shape us. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But what happens when the obstacle isn't just a test of your character, but a barrier placed with intent? What if the resistance you're facing isn't fate guiding you, but interference designed to stop you? Let me tell you about Malik, a young fashion entrepreneur in Chicago whose story might feel all too familiar. Malik had built his brand from nothing, sketching designs in his tiny apartment, hustling at local markets, and finally landing a deal to launch his collection at a major event. Everything was aligned: suppliers, partnerships, a sleek website ready to go live. But then, in a matter of days, it all unraveled. His supplier backed out with no explanation. His website crashed repeatedly, losing weeks of work. Influencers he'd paid to promote his brand ghosted him, leaving him scrambling. Malik wasn't just facing bad luck. It was as if an invisible wall had risen between him and his dreams. In moments like these, it's easy to blame yourself. You might think, "I'm not working hard enough," or "maybe I'm not cut out for this." But here's the truth. Sometimes the blockages aren't random. They're targeted. They strike right when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, not to test you, but to break you. Witchcraft, or spiritual interference as some call it, doesn't always come with dramatic rituals or eerie symbols. Sometimes it's subtle, methodical, designed to choke your momentum and make you question your worth. It doesn't just want you to fail, it wants you to stop trying altogether. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt like you were running on a treadmill, pouring in effort but getting nowhere? Maybe you've applied for dozens of jobs, only to hear nothing back. Or you've launched a project you believed in, only to watch it stall for reasons that don't add up. These aren't just coincidences, they're signals, and recognizing them is your first step toward reclaiming your path. The Stoics teach us to face obstacles with clarity and courage, but they also remind us to question what's within our control. Seneca said, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." If you're willing, if you're showing up every day with focus and heart, yet the world keeps pushing back harder than it should, it's time to look deeper. Start by documenting your patterns. Grab a notebook and write down every time a goal feels blocked. When did it happen? What were you working toward? Who was around you? Look for the threads that connect these moments. For Malik, the pattern became clear when he noticed the chaos always spiked after meetings with a particular business associate, someone who smiled warmly but whose envy hung in the air like smoke. Once he distanced himself from that energy, his path began to clear. But awareness is only the beginning. To break through these blockages, you need to act with intention. Start small. Clear your workspace, whether it's your desk or your mind. Light a candle, say a prayer, or simply speak your goal aloud, claiming it as yours. The Stoics believed in aligning your actions with your purpose, and in today's world, that means protecting your energy. Try this today. Write down one goal you've been struggling to achieve, then take one concrete step toward it, no matter how small. Send that email, make that call, sketch that idea, and as you do, visualize a shield of light around you, guarding your focus from anything that seeks to dim it. This isn't just about moving forward, it's about reclaiming your power to move at all. In our modern lives, where ambition is both celebrated and attacked, these blockages can feel like the universe conspiring against you. But here's the Stoic truth. You are not powerless. Every obstacle is a teacher, and every setback is a chance to sharpen your clarity. Malik didn't just rebuild his business. He rebuilt his belief in himself, learning to trust his instincts and protect his vision. You can do the same. Whether it's a stalled career, a creative rut, or a dream that keeps slipping away, don't let the fog win. See it, name it, and walk through it. Because on the other side of that resistance lies the version of you that no force, seen or unseen, can stop. Now let's turn to the next sign, one that speaks not through closed doors, but through the quiet warnings of your own body. Stay with me, because what your soul already knows might just save you. Your body is more than flesh and bone. It's a vessel for your spirit, a silent guardian that senses threats before your mind can name them. Have you ever woken up drained? Not from a late night or a long day, but from a heaviness that seems to come from nowhere. Your limbs feel like they're wading through molasses, your chest tightens for no reason, and even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. You go to the doctor, run tests, try every remedy, vitamins, sleep, exercise, but nothing touches the core of it. This isn't just burnout. This is your soul sounding an alarm, whispering truths your conscious mind hasn't yet grasped. On our ZENLIGHT 8, we're peeling back the layers to uncover what's really going on when your body speaks and your spirit listens. Let's explore the second sign of spiritual interference, when your body whispers what your soul already knows. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to wisdom, once said, "The body is the servant of the soul." But what happens when that servant begins to falter? Not from physical strain, but from an unseen weight pressing on your spirit. This kind of exhaustion isn't just tired muscles or a foggy mind. It's a depletion that feels like your very essence is being siphoned away. Let me tell you about Linda, a vibrant entrepreneur from Seattle who lit up every room she entered. She was the kind of person who could work 12-hour days, host dinner parties, and still have energy to spare. But then, something shifted. Every afternoon, around 2 p.m., she'd crash, not just tired, but hollowed out, like a battery drained. To zero, she'd lie on her couch, staring at the ceiling, unable to move. Doctors ran blood panels, sleep studies, even brain scans, but everything came back normal. Her diet was clean, her lifestyle hadn't changed, yet she felt like a shadow of herself. And then came the nightmares, vivid, relentless dreams of dark figures watching her from the corners of her room, leaving her waking up gasping, her heart pounding with a fear she couldn't explain. What Linda was experiencing wasn't just stress or depression, though that's what everyone told her. It was something deeper, something that no pill or therapy session could touch. Her body was screaming what her soul already knew. Something was trying to dim her light. In many spiritual traditions, this kind of interference targets your core, your energy, your creativity, your joy. It's not random, it's personal. For an artist, it might show up as a creative block that feels like a wall between you and your muse. For an athlete, it could be injuries that defy logic, healing only to return at the worst moments. For someone like Linda, it was a physical and emotional unraveling, a slow erosion of the spark that made her who she was. The Stoics understood that our bodies and minds are intertwined, and when one suffers without cause, it's often a sign that the other is under siege. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt a tiredness that sleep can't fix? Maybe you've noticed anxiety creeping in, not tied to any event, but triggered by certain places or people. Or perhaps you've had dreams that linger, not just as images, but as feelings, fear, heaviness, a sense of being watched. These are not just quirks of the mind. They're your body's way of waving a red flag. Linda's breakthrough came when she visited her sister in Portland, 180 miles away. Within hours of arriving, the fog lifted. She felt light, alive, herself again. No nightmares, no 2 p.m. crashes. But the moment she returned home, the weight returned, especially after crossing paths with a colleague whose jealousy seemed to linger in the air like a bad smell. The pattern was undeniable. So, how do you listen when your body speaks? Start by trusting it. Your body doesn't lie. It can't. It reacts to energies your mind might dismiss. Grab a journal and track these moments. When do you feel drained? Is it after being in a certain room, talking to a specific person, or entering a particular space? Note the time, the place, the feeling. Patterns will emerge. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, and that includes the nature of your own body. If it's telling you something's wrong, don't ignore it. Act. Try this today. Find a quiet moment and sit with yourself. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask, what is my body trying to tell me? Then, protect your energy. Sprinkle a pinch of sea salt at your doorstep to cleanse your space. Carry a small piece of obsidian in your pocket to ground you. These aren't superstitions. They're tools to realign your spirit with your purpose. In our fast-paced world, we're taught to push through exhaustion, to ignore the whispers of our intuition. But the Stoics remind us that true strength lies in discernment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When your body feels heavy, when your spirit feels dim, that's not weakness. It's wisdom calling you to act. Linda reclaimed her energy by recognizing the source of her depletion and shielding herself from it. You can too. Start listening to your body's whispers, because they're not just warnings, they're guideposts to a stronger, clearer you. Let's move to the next sign, where the people you love most start to feel like strangers, and the bonds you trust begin to fray. Stay with me, because this one hits close to home. There's a special kind of pain when the people you trust most start to feel like strangers. You've shared laughter, secrets, late-night conversations, yet one day, without warning, something shifts. A friend who once lit up at your presence now avoids your gaze. A colleague you relied on turns cold, their words sharp for no reason. Your partner, the one who knows your heart, suddenly seems distant, as if a wall has risen between you. It's not just miscommunication, it's a fracture, subtle but deep, that leaves you questioning everything. Did I do something wrong? Have I changed? Or is something else at play, something weaving discord into the bonds you hold dear? On ZENLIGHT 8, we're not just here to point out the cracks. We're here to help you mend them with clarity and strength. Let's uncover the third sign of spiritual interference, when the people closest to you suddenly feel like strangers. Seneca, the Stoic sage, wrote, "A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. But what happens when that treasure turns to stone, when the warmth of connection is replaced by a chill can't explain? This kind of disruption doesn't always announce itself with arguments or betrayals. Sometimes it's quieter, more insidious. A missed call that's never returned, a conversation that feels off, a sudden suspicion from someone who used to trust you completely." Let me tell you about Naomi, a graphic designer from Austin whose inner circle was her rock. Her friends were her family, her colleagues, her cheerleaders. But then, like a slow leak, the bonds began to erode. Her best friend, Sarah, stopped replying to texts, offering vague excuses when pressed. Her team at work started excluding her from meetings, treating her like an outsider. Even her brother, always her confidant, began snapping at her over nothing. Naomi tried to fix it, apologizing, reaching out, over-explaining, but the distance only grew. And then she noticed something chilling. These rifts always deepened after she spent time with a new acquaintance, someone charming on the surface, but whose questions about her life felt too probing, too hungry. The Stoics knew that our relationships shape our souls. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, but the thoughts of those around us can also be dyed, twisted, turned." When spiritual interference targets your social world, it doesn't always come straight at you. It moves like smoke, slipping into the spaces between you and the people you love, sowing confusion, distrust, and division. It might look like a text misunderstood, an email lost in the void, or a sudden resentment from someone who once celebrated your wins. You start to doubt yourself, wondering if you're the problem. But here's the truth. When people act out of character, they're not always acting from themselves. Sometimes they're reacting to an energy that doesn't belong to either of you. Naomi's wake-up call came when she realized her new acquaintance had a history of stirring drama, always leaving chaos in their wake. Once she stepped back from that influence, her relationships began to heal. So, how do you protect the bonds that matter most? Start with reason, as the Stoics advise. Don't rush to blame, but don't ignore the signals either. Keep a journal and note when relationships feel off. Who was around? What happened before the shift? Patterns will show themselves. Then, take action. Meet people face to face whenever possible. Digital communication is too easily twisted. Speak your truth calmly, directly, and with love. And protect your energy. Before meeting someone who feels draining, visualize a shield of light around you, deflecting negativity. Try this today. Reach out to someone you felt distant from. Not a text, not an email, a real conversation. Ask, "Is everything okay between us?" and listen with an open heart. The Stoics believed in controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. You can't control others, but you can control how you show up. In our connected world, where relationships are both our strength and our vulnerability, these fractures can feel like personal failures, but they're not always your fault. Sometimes they're the work of unseen forces, testing your resilience. Naomi rebuilt her circle by trusting her instincts and clearing the energy that clouded her connections. You can too. Your relationships are sacred. Don't let them slip away without a fight. See the patterns, act with intention, and hold fast to the people who lift you up. Because when you protect your bonds, you protect your peace. Now, let's explore the next sign, where the objects around you carry more than meets the eye. Stay with me, because what's hiding in plain sight might change everything. Not every threat announces itself with a bang. Some creep into your life quietly, hiding in the ordinary. A coin tucked under your doormat, a small pouch in the corner of your closet, a gift that feels wrong the moment you touch it. These aren't just objects. They're anchors, physical, vessels carrying intentions that hum with an energy you can't quite name. They sit in your space, silent but heavy, like a shadow cast by something you can't see. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're learning to look closer, to see the unseen, and to protect our peace with the clarity of the Stoics. Let's dive into the fourth sign of spiritual interference. When objects speak the unseen. Epictetus taught us that things are not always what they seem. Appearances to the mind are of four kinds, he said. Things are either what they appear to be, or they neither are nor appear to be, or they are and do not appear to be, or they are not and yet appear to be. These strange objects fall into that last category, seemingly harmless but charged with something darker. Across cultures, from ancient Rome to modern-day America, objects have been used to carry intentions, both good and ill. A charm to bless, a home, a talisman to ward off evil, or, in the case of spiritual interference, a tool to tether negative energy to your space. Let me tell you about Jared, a teacher in Denver who moved into a new apartment filled with promise. The space was bright, the rent was right, and for the first time in years, he felt at home. But within weeks, that peace began to fray. Every night at exactly 3:33 a.m., He'd wake up, heart racing, gripped by a sense that someone was watching him. He chalked it up to stress until he found something under his bed while vacuuming. A small leather pouch containing hair, a rusty nail, and a scrap of paper with symbols he didn't recognize. It wasn't his, and it wasn't there when he moved in. These objects aren't random. They're placed with purpose, often near thresholds. Your front door, your bedroom, the corners where energy flows. In spiritual traditions, they're known as anchors, conduits for intentions that can lift you up or drag you down. A bundle of herbs tied with red thread, a jar filled with odd materials, a coin arranged just so. These are not accidents. They're bookmarks in the story of your life, written by someone else's hand. For Jared, the pouch was a turning point. He'd recently reconnected with an old friend who brought a housewarming gift, a seemingly innocent candle that now felt heavy with meaning. The Stoics remind us to question what enters our space. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But to make the obstacle your path, you must first see it clearly. And sometimes, that obstacle is hiding under your bed. How do you know what's ordinary and what's not? Trust your body. It senses what your eyes might miss. If an object makes you uneasy, if touching it brings nausea or a sudden chill, listen. Your intuition is your first line of defense. Jared felt a knot in his stomach every time he passed that candle, but he dismissed it until the pouch confirmed his suspicions. If you find something strange, don't touch it with bare hands. Use gloves or tongs, place it in a sealed bag, and remove it from your space. Then cleanse your home. Sprinkle sea salt across your doorstep, burn sage, or ring a bell to shift the energy. These practices aren't superstition, they're about reclaiming your environment. Try this today. Walk through your home and notice what feels off. Check under furniture, in drawers, at entryways. If something doesn't belong, remove it with care and reset your space with intention. In our busy lives, it's easy to overlook the small things, a trinket, a gift, a misplaced item. But the Stoics teach us to live with awareness, to question what crosses our path. Jared found peace again by cleansing his apartment and cutting ties with the friend whose gift carried more than goodwill. You can do the same. Your space is your sanctuary, and protecting it is an act of strength. Don't let silent anchors weigh you down. See them, remove them, and reclaim your light. Let's turn to the next sign, where the tools of our modern world, our phones, our computers, become conduits for something far less tangible. Stay with me, because this one might be closer than you think. In a world where our lives hum through screens and signals, what happens when the tools we rely on start to betray us? Your phone drops a call just as you're about to share something important. Your laptop crashes right before you hit save on a project that means everything. Your Wi-Fi cuts out every time you try to record a video or join a meeting that could change your life. These aren't just glitches, they're disruptions, timed too perfectly to be chance. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're not here to blame technology for our troubles. We're here to question when those troubles carry a deeper message. Let's explore the fifth sign of spiritual interference: unnatural technological malfunctions and disturbances. In ancient times, omens came as shattered mirrors or sudden storms. Today, they arrive in corrupted files, frozen screens, and distorted audio that vanishes without a trace. The Stoics taught us to protect our minds as we would a fortress, and in 2025, that fortress includes the devices that carry our voices. Epictetus said, "You must protect your mind as you would a citadel." But what happens when the citadel's gates, your phone, your computer, your Wi-Fi, become entry points for interference? Let me tell you about Chloe, a podcaster from Los Angeles whose work on ancestral trauma was starting to resonate with thousands. Her episodes were raw, powerful, life-changing. But every time she sat down to record her most vulnerable topics, her equipment failed. Microphones cut out, software crashed, files disappeared. She tried new gear, new locations, even hired a tech expert, but the problems followed her. It wasn't until she switched to handwritten notes that the disruptions stopped, as if something didn't want her truth to be heard. These malfunctions aren't always random. They often strike when you're on the verge of expression, when You're about to share something that could heal, inspire, or shift the world around you. Think about it. Does your phone only drop calls when you're talking to someone who lifts you up? Does your computer crash when you're writing about your dreams, your faith, your truth? Chloe noticed her glitches always hit when she spoke, about breaking cycles of pain, as if her words were being silenced before they could reach the world. The Stoics remind us that our thoughts shape our reality, and in our digital age, those thoughts flow through code and connection. When those connections break, ask yourself, who or what benefits from my silence? Protecting your voice starts with awareness. Keep a log of when your tech fails. Is it tied to certain projects, conversations, or moments of clarity? Then, ground your tools. Place a piece of black tourmaline or obsidian near your desk to absorb negative energy. Before starting a big project, speak an intention aloud. My voice is clear, my work is protected. These small acts aren't magic, they're alignment, a way to reclaim your space in a world of wires and waves. Try this today. The next time you sit down to create, take 30 seconds to breathe deeply and visualize your technology as a clear channel for your truth. Then start your work with confidence. In our hyper-connected lives, we depend on technology to share our stories, build our dreams, and connect with others. But when those tools turn against us, it's not always a hardware issue. Sometimes, it's a signal, a call to protect your message. Chloe reclaimed her podcast by shielding her space and refusing to let the glitches win. You can do the same. Don't let a frozen screen or a dropped call stop you. Your voice matters, and no interference, digital or spiritual, can silence it when you stand in your power. Now let's move to the next sign, where patterns of chaos repeat with a precision that's hard to ignore. Stay with me, because this one will make you question what you've been calling bad luck. Life has its rough days, coffee spills, traffic jams, a bad meeting at work. But what happens when those rough days turn into a rhythm, a cycle of chaos that hits the same parts of your life with unnerving precision? Your car breaks down every time you're headed to a big opportunity. Your internet crashes just as you're about to seal a deal. Arguments flare up out of nowhere, always right before a moment of joy or progress. These aren't just flukes, they're patterns, and they're trying to tell you something. On ZENLIGHT, we're not here to shrug off bad luck. We're here to question it, to uncover its roots, and to turn it into power. Let's dive into the sixth sign of spiritual interference, unexplainable negative patterns that keep repeating. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek." The truth often hides in patterns, and when chaos follows a script, it's time to start reading between the lines. Let me tell you about Dante, a gym owner in Miami whose business was a beacon of community and strength. For years, his gym thrived, loyal clients, 5-star reviews, a wait list for classes. But then the tide turned. Equipment broke down despite regular maintenance. Longtime members canceled, citing weird vibes they couldn't explain. A competitor started whispering rumors, subtle but damaging. And then Dante himself fell ill, not once but repeatedly, despite a lifetime of perfect health. Every time he planned a new promotion, his website crashed. Every date night with his partner was interrupted by accidents or arguments. It wasn't just a bad week, it was a web, tightening around everything he'd built. These patterns aren't random, they're orchestrated, striking at the heart of what brings you stability and joy. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." But what if the suffering isn't imagined? What if your intuition is ringing the alarm, telling you that this chaos is too precise to be chance? Think about your own life. Does your phone die only when you're about to make a life-changing call? Do conflicts erupt just before family gatherings or big decisions? These are not coincidences. They're interference, designed to keep you off balance. For Dante, the pattern became clear when he traced the chaos back to a former client, someone who'd asked for his mentorship, but grew bitter when success didn't come easily. The disruptions always spiked after their interactions, like clockwork. To break these cycles, you need to see them first. Start a pattern journal. Write down every disruption. When it happens, what it affects, how it feels. Over a week, you'll see the threads. Is it always your career? Your relationships? Your health? Then, act. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control. You can't stop every breakdown, but you can protect your energy. Try this today. Pick one area of your life where chaos keeps striking. Before your next big step, a meeting, a project, a conversation, pause. Speak an intention. My path is clear. My purpose is protected. Visualize a shield around you, deflecting negativity. Then move forward with confidence. These small acts shift the energy, breaking the cycle one step at a time. In our fast-moving world, it's easy to dismiss patterns as bad luck. But the Stoics remind us to live awake, to question what crosses our path. Dante reclaimed his life by recognizing the source of his chaos and shielding his space, both physically and spiritually. You can too. Don't let these patterns define you. See them, break them, and step into the life you're meant to live. Let's move to the final sign, where your intuition speaks louder than ever, guiding you through the unseen. Stay with me, because this one could be your greatest ally. There's a voice inside you that speaks without words, a quiet knowing that stirs in your chest before your mind can catch up. It's the chill down your spine when you enter a room, the sudden urge to avoid a person you can't explain, the dream that lingers like a warning long after you wake. This is your intuition, your soul's compass, and when it starts firing, it's not just a feeling, it's a call to action. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're here to help you listen to that voice, to trust it, and to use it to protect your light. Let's uncover the seventh and final sign of spiritual interference. Intuitive warnings and spiritual disturbances. Epictetus said, "There is a divinity within us that perceives what is right and what is wrong." That divinity is your intuition, and it's never silent when your spirit is under siege. Think back to a moment when you felt uneasy for no reason. A new coworker who smiled too brightly but left you cold. A path you avoided only to learn later it was dangerous. A dream that woke you with a racing heart. These aren't accidents. They're your soul's way of saying, pay attention. Let me tell you about Maya, a nurse in New York who always trusted her gut. She'd built a life of service, healing others with her warmth and skill. But one month, her intuition started screaming. She'd feel a tightness in her stomach every time she walked into the hospital's break room. Her dreams turned dark, shadowy figures chasing her, faces of colleagues twisted into something menacing. She'd wake up at 4 a.m. gasping, with a sense that something was wrong. At first, she brushed it off as stress, but the feelings grew stronger, especially around a new supervisor whose praise felt hollow, whose questions about Maya's life felt like probes. These warnings are your body's ancient language, honed by centuries of survival. They show up as goosebumps, a racing pulse, or a dream that feels too real. In spiritual traditions, dreams are a gateway to truth, where your soul speaks freely while your mind rests. If you're seeing recurring nightmares, being chased, trapped, or watched, don't dismiss them. They're messages. And when they combine with other signs, blockages, exhaustion, fractured relationships, they form a pattern that demands your attention. Maya's intuition led her to a discovery. Her supervisor had a history of undermining colleagues, sowing discord to climb the ranks. Once she set boundaries, the disturbances faded, and her dreams quieted. How do you harness this inner wisdom? Start by listening. Keep a dream journal by your bed. Each morning, write down what you saw, what you felt, and what lingered. Notice when your body reacts around certain people in certain places. Then act. The Stoics teach us to align with truth, and your intuition is your guide. Before entering a challenging space, visualize a shield of light around you, protecting your energy. Carry a small piece of obsidian or black tourmaline in your pocket to ground you. Try this today. Sit quietly for 5 minutes and ask, what is my intuition trying to tell me? Let the answers come without judgment. Then, take one small step to honor that wisdom. Avoid a draining person, cleanse your space with sage, or simply say, I am protected. In our busy lives, we're taught to ignore these whispers, to push through discomfort. But the Stoics remind us that true strength lies in clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your intuition speaks, it's painting a picture of your truth. Don't ignore it. Maya reclaimed her peace by trusting her gut and acting on its warnings. You can too. Your intuition is not fear, it's power. It's your guide through the unseen, your shield against interference, and your path to a life aligned with purpose. You've walked with me through 7 signs of spiritual interference, from blockages that stall your dreams to intuition that guards your soul. Each sign is a call to wake up, to see clearly, and to act with the strength the Stoics championed. In our modern world, where distractions and disruptions come from every corner, screens, schedules, even the people we love, these signs are more than warnings. They're invitations to reclaim your power. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Today, that strength means protecting your energy, your relationships, your space, and your voice. Start small. Keep a journal to track patterns, cleanse your home with salt or sage, carry a protective stone, and trust your intuition. These aren't just rituals, they're acts of sovereignty, ways to align your life with your purpose in 2025 and beyond. You don't need to live in fear, you need to live awake. So take one step today. Write down a pattern you've noticed, reach out to a friend, or speak an intention aloud. Your light is yours to claim, and no force, seen or unseen, can dim it when you stand in your truth. This is ZENLIGHT, where we blend Stoic wisdom with practical tools to help you rise above the noise and reclaim your clarity. If this video resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and join our community of truth seekers. Drop "I claim clarity" in the comments below and share one pattern you've noticed in your life. Your story might just inspire someone else to break free. Stay with us for more guidance on living with purpose, protecting your peace, and turning obstacles into opportunities. Until next time, keep your light bright.